My name is Mohib Rajwani. I am the father of Fatema Zainab Rajwani, one of the Filton 18, who's been in prison for the last 10 months for taking action against Elbit System. I'm in Cairo at the moment. The reason I came here was to take part in the global march to Rafah border. The global march is a totally peaceful and legal initiative, and it's not about breaking any laws or confronting anything. It was a peaceful march to Rafah border and try to convince the authorities to open the border to let aid in. The reason I came here was twofold actually. The first reason is of course the genocide taking place in Gaza, and people are being starved, especially the children, the babies. And the second reason was I came here to represent Fatema Zainab. Fatema Zainab was a bit scared, but she was excited as well. And she told me, "Papa, I'm very proud of you." So I arrived Friday early morning to Cairo. At around midday, I left for the meeting point. I came off the hotel, took a taxi. As soon as I got into the taxi, 2 minutes later, we were stopped. The total time I was detained was around 5.5 hours to 6 hours. So once we were stopped initially, I was okay with it because I thought they'd let us go immediately. But when they took us to the police station and they made us sit outside police station, this was the time I started getting really worried. And I wasn't sure what's going to happen. And they kept saying to us that we will release you in 10 minutes. And so I was all right up to that point. But when after a bit, when they started putting us on the prison van, that's when I got really worried because they didn't tell us where they were taking us. And we didn't know what was going on. And initially, I thought they just were going to take us to a detainment center. And at that point, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified because the situation, the detainment situation here is completely different from what you could find in the UK. And at that time, I realized what would have gone through Fatema Zainab's mind when she was being detained and she was kept in solitary confinement. Because it was similar, it was a similar experience. During the journey, when we started moving, I was absolutely terrified. In the van, actually, there were some people who were chanting, but I was just sitting silent. After 20 minutes, I saw that we were going towards the airport. I could read the signs outside, and I was at the time thinking, okay, fine. So the worst they can do right now is maybe they will deport us. At that point, there was a bit of a relief. And once we reached the airport and I saw this police in riot gear, again, I started being scared. They took us out of the van one by one. The police grabbed our hands and they grabbed it very tightly, and they shoved us around. My detention was a very harrowing experience for me. And after I got released, the first thing I wanted to do was go back home as soon as possible. My mind was in a mess because things were going in my mind. Coming here was a joint decision between me and my wife. But at that time, I was thinking, my daughter is already in prison and I saw what my wife went through. And with me, I could just imagine the horrors going in her mind at that time. And I was more worried about her than about myself. And I have a younger daughter at home who I'm worried about as well because I talk to her 5-6 times a day and she calls me a lot. So I was worried about her as well. And I was just thinking, how would Sukaina explain to my little one what's going on? And what would she tell our daughter Fatema Zainab? And how that would impact her, because being in remand for 10 months had a very big impact on her mental health, and this on top. So this really worried me a lot. I decided that I'm going to go home now and be with my family because it's been a very scary experience for them as well. And I just want to unite with them as soon as possible.